Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Gripe, the show for short, sweet reviews of new release movies, plus the one thing that annoyed me the most. And today I'm going to be talking about the new movie Inferno, and I will warn you, there are major spoilers. A radical scientist has created a virus that could wipe out half the world's population on purpose, and it's up to Robert Langdon to follow the clues and find it before hell on earth erupts. The film stars Tom Hanks, Felicity Jones, Omar Sy, Irfan Khan, Sid Sababet Knudsen, and Ben Foster, and the film is directed by Ron Howard. I'm starting right off the bat with my key gripe, because David Koepp ruined this movie with his adaptation. The plot is an absolute mess, and I know that the source material is more coherent. I've only read one Dan Brown book. It wasn't this one. I read Angels and Demons. But even there, I saw the disparity with the book and the movie. And that movie happened to be written by David Koepp as well. And once again, this movie makes significant and unfortunate changes from the book. So the story starts off with a premise that a mad scientist billionaire creates this apocalyptic virus. And honestly, there is actually some terrifying truth to his radicalism, and I'll get to that a little bit later. But from there, it goes into half a movie full of vague exposition, hallucinations, and amnesia. The idea is that Langdon is supposed to be drawn into finding the virus by an intricate plan devised by Harry Sims, played by Irfan Khan. Here's the problem. It is a nightmare of a spider web with like a quadruple cross. The plan is that he confides in Sienna, played by Felicity Jones, who is a disciple of Zobrist, played by Ben Foster, and she also happens to be his lover. So they set it up to have Langdon and Sienna blindly follow these clues. All the while, they're being fake pursued by Sims and really pursued by Bouchard, played by Omar Sy, which ultimately this whole thing results in this triple double cross and a deus ex machina for good measure. It is by sheer convenience that a stranger gives them the last piece of the puzzle. Like seriously, throughout most of this movie, I thought I was watching Indiana Jones played by Forrest Gump. There is far too much convenience throughout this story. And when Sienna betrays him, he finds out that everybody was lying to him. And on top of that, they sapped his memory to push his focus on finding the clues. They completely wiped his memory, just so he could follow the clues and be paranoid and all this stuff. Sienna herself was kept in the dark about the location of the virus, but she's integral in making sure it succeeds. So why wasn't she told at the beginning? It makes no sense that she's kept in the dark. I mean, we get it. She's the romantic, but apparently Zobrist didn't trust her, so really true love there, I guess? I don't know. It seems like her love is tested if he doesn't actually trust her. But I guess it would help if they gave some character development, which in this movie is extremely weak. There's little bits and pieces that you have to kind of glean from pieces of information she says, but nothing is very clear. It's very weak character development to make us understand why this woman is so intent on making sure this virus is released. And hidden in this mess is a coherent plot, but they were way too frantic to give any real detail at any point in the movie. I feel like the blowback from the Da Vinci Code being boring forced the studio to bring in someone like Koepp, who is a master of the generic, to pen both Angels and Demons and this one. All he did with it was sacrifice an intriguing and intricate plot for something that is intentionally confusing for so long that by the end, the why makes no sense, or there is no why of the reason of this movie is completely lost in the muddled plot that we are given. And that is the problem. There's so much potential here with this story and with this premise, as well as this cast. You have this threat of overpopulation, and the reality of it is certainly a motivator for a madman. And Ben Foster really nails his mindset, even if his character is severely underdeveloped. They don't really explore the implications or the morality enough, and it basically becomes your generic doomsday scenario. Just the virus is going to get out, the world's going to end, and that'll solve all our problems. But there's really nothing, there's no grappling with the morality behind it. Not only that, it becomes even less impressive when you change the ending from what you got with the book. The book has a much bleaker ending than what we got here. Instead, what do we get? We get outdated visual effects, we get pedestrian action, and almost no real peril throughout the entire movie. And honestly, even though it's an all-star cast, they don't really help much, both from weak writing and also just malaise, as this is the third film and one that none of us really wanted in the first place. And that's sad because Hanks is usually spot on. He can even lift a bad movie, but he's on autopilot. His character has no character. Honestly, the only real standout, if there is one, is Irfan Khan. He's pretty much the only character who has any kind of personality. Everybody else is just wooden. It's hard to tell whether or not the acting is just bad or the actors know that the writing sucks and they just can't put anything into it. Overall, the incoherent writing, the monotonous acting, and the unimpressive visual effects really makes me wish the bad guys had won in this movie, because at least that would make sure that this is the last one in this series. Although, given how badly it did, I'm pretty sure this is going to be the last of the Robert Langdon movies. I'm giving this movie a 4.5 out of 10 for some brief glimpses of a good movie, but overall just a massive disappointment. Let me know what you thought of Inferno if you've seen it. Hopefully I haven't spoiled too much if you haven't seen it, or maybe I've convinced you to save your money, but let me know in the comments what you thought of Inferno. And that'll do it for this episode of Key Gripe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye! Hey gang, thanks for watching this video. If you like what you see, you can click to subscribe to check out my other videos right here on YouTube, or you can click the link to check out my website to find out about all of my other projects, including my podcasts, as well as my books. So what do you say? Click away.